Hey everyone, we're The Violet Reality. My name is Casey Rain.
And I'm Camilia.
And we are here today with not a review.
What? Not a review?
That's what I'm calling it. It's not a review.
No.
Let me explain. So, of course, with any new release, like Piano and a Microphone 83 that just came out, everybody wants to get out there and be like, hey, here's my review. Hey, here's my review. Hey, here's my review. Check out my review. Check out my review. And ultimately, you know, what is a review? A review is just kind of like one person's opinion. And like, who are you? Why is your opinion important? Why is our opinion important? We review stuff sometimes, but it doesn't mean you have to agree with it. So, and I think with albums, we get into this kind of like format where it's like, oh yeah, you should like listen to what I said in my review and blah, blah, blah. But actually, I think what's more important is to have a balanced discussion about like pros and cons of each release. And that could be considered in itself to be a type of review, I guess. But actually, I like to think of it as more of a discussion. Like, I think we think of reviews as being like, blah, 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 here's a bunch of stuff, and yay or nay. And that's kind of like, it's not very interactive. It's not really like a discussion. It's more like one person saying, hey, this is what I think, and you should listen.
Or, this is what I think, and you shouldn't listen.
Why would anybody say that?
Some people do that. Some people don't.
No, listen to my review, not listen to the album.
Oh.
That's what I meant. As in, this is what I think, and you should listen to me. So what we're going to do is we're going to do something a little bit different, and absolutely we want to know what you think, and we want to know in the comments what your pros are and what your cons are, and if you bought the release, and if you did not buy the release, if you felt so strongly about it that you did not buy it, we want to know that as well. And I think that gives us a proper, objective balance about this new release.
Yeah.
So for this one, we're going to do. I'm gonna say a few things that I think are pros of this release.
Yeah. And I'm gonna be negative Nancy, and I'm going to be saying the cons, because what you should know about me, and I've never actually shared this publicly, is that whilst I'm okay with the release, it's not something that if I walked past it in the store, I wouldn't buy it myself, and I also don't really listen to, but that's just me. So you don't have to share that opinion with me.
Yeah. So pros. So first of all, I think that the packaging is absolutely fantastic. That's the first pro, especially on the deluxe version. I think it's absolutely great that they got Jill Jones and Don Batts and Lisa Coleman, all people who I think are absolutely amazing, to write the liner notes, and whoever did the design on this whole packaging did like a really, really good job with the handwritten lyrics and the photos and all that stuff. So first of all, like music aside, I think it's a great like art piece. Now, speaking of the music, there's two things that I think are pros. So number one, it plugs the gap of 1983. So as you know, 1983 is the year where previously there was no Prince album that represents that year, because 1999 album came out in 82, Purple Rain came out in 84, and he spent 83, working on Purple Rain, the album and the movie. And although there absolutely is an album of songs that were recorded in 83 that could be put together and hopefully do get put together, because there is no album of that year, it's kind of like they have to question where they would release them, or like what they would call it and all that kind of stuff, and that just opens up like a whole bunch of questions. So I personally think that if they do release, actual songs from 83, they would be better off being part of a deluxe 1999 package, even if they're songs that maybe got recorded after the 1999 album came out, but stylistically sound the same. And obviously we've already had Purple Rain Deluxe. Some of those songs, are songs that would have come from 83 as well, or did come from 83. So that's the kind of thing about 83. We now have an actual album that sits in that year. So that is awesome. And it's also something brand new. It's, we haven't seen an official release before from the 80s of Prince playing piano. Obviously later on we got One Night Alone Piano, that was much later on. But in the 80s, what many consider to be, I don't like using the phrase like golden era or anything like that, because I don't agree with that. But in terms of like popularity and like sales and public kind of impact, then absolutely, his biggest era in that sense. Therefore, hearing these kind of early piano versions of songs that went on to become massive, massive songs, like 17 Days and obviously Purple Rain and all that stuff, is really, really cool. So musically, I think that is great. And also, we never really had rehearsals before, so that could be a pro or it could be a con, depending on your point of view. But the fact is, I think it's something unique in the catalogue, and I think that's cool. So that is my list of pros for Piano and a Microphone 1983. Oh, actually, I have one more. I think that for the general public, like outside of the fan base, I think everything about this release makes it a kind of historical artifact of art that might be more interesting to some music fans rather than just like, oh, here's a bunch of unreleased Prince songs that we put out. So I think it gives it a story. So yeah, that's my list of pros of Piano and a Microphone 1983.
So now I'm gonna pop in and do all the negative ones. So what I've just been doing in the background when you were talking, I don't know if you saw this, I've been showing everyone the pictures inside of it. So if you want to continue doing that while I'm talking, that would be amazing.
Okay, I can.
Because I don't know if you all watched it, but we did a live unboxing of the package that we got Piano and a Microphone 83 in, and that was quite awesome. And so many of you tuned in and you were like watching us, and it was lovely, and we had so many nice interactions with you, so that was great. But yeah, so cons, and I know we're gonna get a lot of people in the comments like, oh, why are you saying that? So first of all, this was already bootlegged, and a lot of people have this release as a bootleg on their computers, and so they knew what it sounded like already. Second of all, what I really, really wanted, and what some other fans wanted as well, is rather than Piano and a Microphone 1983, we wanted Piano and a Microphone from Paisley Park 2016. That's what we wanted. And then another con I would say is that where you mentioned the point of like us having an album of 1983, which is rehearsals, my point there is that it's rehearsals and not like full like songs that he like went to the studio for and he recorded them and then put them out. So what I would have liked to see is just like a full album of like pre-recorded songs that he recorded in the studio that showcases like all of his musical abilities rather than just playing piano, even though I do have to say that I think he's a phenomenal piano player, and I think if they wanted to put out something that was him playing the piano, why not put out footage instead of an album? Why didn't they just put out footage of it and then gave us Piano and a Microphone 2016 in CD form? So that's a couple of cons that I have, and I guess that like, you know, there's more pros than cons in this video. But yeah, if you can think of anything else, you know, if there's loads of like pros that you have, let us know. Also, if there's any other cons that you have, let us know as well.
I think the main sort of sticking point that I see a lot of hardcore fans saying is the thing that like, okay, with all of this amazing stuff that we know is in the vault, why do they give us rehearsals that A, of songs that we all, mostly songs that we all know, and B, you know, a rehearsal that has already been bootlegged for 20 years, 20 plus years. And I totally get that, but you know, in 5 years or whatever, like that's not an argument that's gonna matter because they'll obviously have released like a whole bunch more stuff then. So
hopefully.
It's just an argument for now. It's just like, why did they do this like first? Like aside from Purple Rain Deluxe, obviously. Like, and I get that. But will we care about that in a few years? Probably not.
I don't know. I feel like something that I would have wanted to see is like if they were going into 80s stuff, like why don't you put Dream Factory together and Camille and all that kind of stuff and then give us that and then start getting into the rehearsals and like footage of the rehearsals as well, because we want to see the man at work, not just hear him at work when it's rehearsals, don't we?
Yeah. Yeah, and I think they're absolutely going to do that. I would probably put money on things like Dream Factory and Camille coming out, you know, whether that's 5 years from now or less than that. I think those are things that absolutely will come out with proper liner notes and you know, proper like mixes of the songs and proper mastering and, you know, all the stories from the Revolution, all the people that were there. I see that happening, so I think this is just... I don't think it's worth complaining about this on the basis that we wanted something else when, you know, all likelihood we'll have lots more things very soon. It is what it is. I think it's an art piece. I think it's a unique kind of standalone thing.
I think that for me it's like I'm slightly different in what your opinion is, which is a good thing. Not all fans have to have the same opinion. I think that, like, it's nice, but it should have been structured differently, and they should have put actual albums with studio songs out first and then go into the rehearsals. But, you know,
I think that's fair. I think that's fair. But imagine if you're like, imagine if you're not a massive Prince fan, you're a casual fan. Imagine you're just like a casual music fan. Then first of all, you probably haven't even heard everything that he put out in his life. So then if somebody says, here's a bunch of unreleased songs that like Prince never put out, then maybe you wouldn't even be that interested in them because like you haven't even like digested what he did put out, right? Whereas if you say, oh look, we found some like old tape of him rehearsing and it's like some of it is songs that you already know, like Purple Rain, then like I kind of get it. I think that's part of the argument.
It's commercial, isn't it? I think you can argue that this was quite a commercial release for the wider public to have, and not, well, for us fans as well, obviously, but not necessarily aimed at us, because a lot of us hardcore fans already had it or heard it.
Yeah. And ultimately, like, Prince did that when he was alive. He had albums that were super commercial, and he had albums that were, like, just for us, like, the hardcore fans. So it is what it is. I'm not sweating it. I think there's going to be lots more coming out from the estate. I think if you're not down with it, then you know nobody's forcing you to buy it. Nobody's holding a gun to your head and say you must support everything that comes out. It's just another album. Like you know, some people did that with albums that when he was alive they weren't really feeling on some of them, so they didn't buy them. Like that's your right as a music consumer.
Yeah, you know, exactly. You don't have to like everything that comes out. You certainly don't have to buy everything that comes out. I mean, if you like it, get it. If you don't like it, just nod at it like that and move on and listen to like your Emancipations and your Raves and your Purple Rains and your Controversies and your Come album. Although Come album is like one where it's like some people really love it and some people really don't like it.
Yep.
Same kind of thing.
But one thing that I do hope is that if you're watching this video and you're on the fence about whether you're going to support it or buy it or listen to it or not, hopefully we helped you make a decision one way or the other.
Yeah.
And let us know in the comments what you think, your pros, your cons, what you think about what we've said. We've tried to make a balanced argument and you know, give you some pros and cons and see what you think. So let us know what you think.
Yeah. So, is Piano and a Microphone 1983 a yay?
Or up? Is it a nay? Let us know what you think. Catch you next time.
Bye.
With a Violet Reality. Subscribe.
Hey, I'm Anna Fantastic, and you're tuned in to The Violet Reality.